Hey everyone, and welcome to Rowing TV Australia. You're with me, your host, Ben Ibrahim, and today we're talking to Henry Youl, who has just been selected for the Australian Men's 8 to compete in this month's World Championships in Racice, the Czech Republic. Henry, welcome to Rowing TV Australia, and congratulations on being selected for the Australian Men's 8.
Thanks, Ben. It's an absolute pleasure to be interviewed on Rowing TV Australia. Thank you. It's an absolute honour to be selected in the Men's 8. This is my senior team debut. So it's pretty exciting to finally don the green and gold for the senior team. I've made a few underage teams, but now back into the senior rank. I'm very excited for the World Champ.
Now, Henry, you said it so well, the green and gold. Tell us about that intangible feeling of wearing green and gold. How does that make you feel? How does that make your family feel? How does it make everybody that's helped you get here? How does that make them feel?
Yeah, it's super exciting. Sometimes I have to pinch myself and remind myself that I am part of the Australian rowing team, and wearing the green and gold again is pretty exciting. So many people strive for this to represent their country in any sport, and now that I'm representing Australia again in rowing, something that I wanted to do for a long time, it's great. And everyone that has supported me over the years, whether it be family, friends, the TIS, my club, the Tame Rowing Club, they're all just super excited and over the moon. And all those messages of support I've had, it means the world.
And mate, you've had to do it in a more challenging way, in the sense that you try to juggle your apprenticeship carpentry career while trying to live your dream for rowing for Australia as well. Tell us about that juggling act in terms of managing your career on and off the water.
Yeah, it was super hard. Looking back on it, and I said to a lot of people since making this sense to this year, I don't know how I did it. It was really, really tricky. Trying to work full time, 38 hours to maybe 40 plus a week, but then also trying at least train twice a day. It wasn't the best way, the best way to do it, but I had no choice. I wanted to represent Australia again, so I needed to be training, but also needed to be working because rowing doesn't pay the bill. I needed the money to pay for stuff. And yeah, I mean, I was getting up super early, 4:30 most mornings a week, training as much as I could. It varied, 12 to 16K, maybe 18 if I was lucky, if I had time. Get to work at 7 o'clock in the summer, 7:30 in winter, work for 8-9 hours a day, and then knock off, go home and have to do it all again, train at night time. I'm knackered from work, but then to have to get on the erg, go to the gym, it was definitely tough, but you have to sacrifice a lot, and I guess I just really wanted to do it. I wanted to be in this position again.
Was there moments when you just were burnt out and said to yourself, this is too much?
Yeah, definitely. There were times when I hated the sport, despised it, but would still train, which, people were like, why are you doing it if you don't enjoy it? Training became a chore instead of actually enjoying it. But I still wanted, I have this dream to represent my country at the highest level. And that's what got me out of bed every morning. And that's what you train for. Because if you're not training, someone else is, and they'll take your spot. And just the thought of representing my country again, all the hours you put in, you've got to make it worth it. Instead of, I'm not doing it for nothing. And I found that passion again for the sport early last year, I think, late last year, and one thing has led to another, and here I am.
Henry, thanks for sharing all those points. Really, really inspirational. But tell us about the transition, how Rowing Australia has helped you make that transition to focus full-time on your rowing dream, but at the same time, being in touch with your apprenticeship carpentry career.
support that we as athletes get at the National Training Centre is second to none. It's so accessible. It's everyone here, all the support staff, they want the best out of us. They want the best out of themselves. So it's a really good environment to be a part of. The support that Rowing Australia gets from Hancock Prospecting means that we don't have to work. We can just focus on training and get the job done. Because if we want to be the best on the world stage, we really have to be putting in the hours, putting in the kilometres on the water, and the support that we get from Hancock Prospecting and from the support staff as athletes means we're able to do that. But also, there's a couple of guys here that are doing uni. I'm still trying to keep in touch with my bookwork side of my apprenticeship so that when I go back to that, that's all ticked off. I just need to get the on-site stuff ticked off, and then I'll be fully qualified. It's really good that I can focus on rowing 100%, but also know that once I'm done with rowing, I can go back into my field of carpentry and finish that off quickly and move on with my life. As I was saying before, when I was home, waking up, there were mornings my alarm would go off and I just wanted to hit snooze. Where being here at the centre, there's going to be days where you're tired. There's going to be days where people are buggered, they're worn out, but we're all here for the same reason, and that's to get the best result we can at the World Champ, and obviously ideally down the track at the Olympic Games in 2024. So to have that to be part of that environment definitely makes it a lot easier.
Very nice. And the goals as a crew, individually, Henry Youl, tell us about those goals for the upcoming 2022 World Champs in Racice, Czech Republic.
The men's eight had such a great World Cup tour. We're very lucky to finish silver on the podium at both World Cups. Lucerne being a really good race for us. We're really happy with how the result we got. But there's a gap between us and GB. We want to try and close that, and there's crews behind us that are going to want to try and overtake us. So we're working hard to hopefully get back on the diet. Whether that's close the gap between GB or ideally we'd like to be close as possible to them, if not pushing them to the line. They're a very, very strong crew and good competitors, so we can only improve from that. But we definitely want to try and medal for sure. That's the end goal.
Let's live the dream. You and I, let's live the dream. But I want you to commentate on this dream. I want you to put your commentator's hat on. Tell us about the Henry Youl rowing dream. Tell us about that perfect race.
The perfect race is winning at the Olympic Games. Being an Olympian, obviously there's a lot of crews and rowers out there that want to do that as well. So you just have to try and be better. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be known as an Olympian. That's just for me personally. I think that's something that I've strived for a long time. So to reach that point, to reach that goal would be the dream come true. And now I can happily say that I've reached the pinnacle in my sport and can move on with my life. But yeah, I mean, that's what you do it for. That's what I'm doing it for. To be an Olympian would be really exciting. Yeah.
The last question is, if you had to tell a bunch of young athletes who are coming into competitive sport, let's just say they're year 7, year 6, year 5, what advice would you tell them about perseverance and managing time and juggling and going for it?
You're going to have to make some sacrifices. That's just part of being an elite athlete. There's lots of sacrifices you have to make. And only you can tell yourself whether you want to do it or not. I think you have all these people around you telling you maybe you can't do it or you can do it, but at the end of the day, it's what you want and you'll know what you want. As I said earlier, I lost a bit of passion for rowing, despised it, but still knew deep down that there was a reason I was doing it, and that was to row for Australia again. I would say to any young athlete aspiring for the same thing that you'll know if you want to do it, and no matter how tired you are in the morning or if you're working and you don't want to train after work, you'll end up finding that bit of motivation to get on the rowing machine or get out on the water and do the work.
Fantastic stuff, Henry. And everyone, as Henry has shared with us today, he shared with us two things, which I'm going to put in the hashtag. Perseverance. That's the first hashtag. The second hashtag is only listen to yourself and keep going. Don't listen to the negative people. And the third and final hashtag, row for Australia, because that is the dream. And Henry, on behalf of Rowing TV Australia, thank you for your time. Thank you for your sharing. And thank you for your friendliness and inspiration. We look forward to catching up with you in the future for more content and inspiration from Henry Youl.
Thanks, Ben. Really appreciate you taking time to share my story, how I got here.
It's a pleasure. Take care, everyone. And until the next episode of Rowing TV Australia, take care and stay safe.